All four inns have their unique, beautiful settings and long traditions. All four inns are equal professionally. So I would say choose the one that you feels right for you, whether that's based on scholarship, support, or simply where you feel most at home.
Can I have Elise, Hui Yi, and Keong to share with us which inns you belong to? And if you already have a QS sessions participated, would you want to share with students?
For me, I actually joined in a temple.
Oh,
And to be very honest with you guys, my choice to join in a temple was based more on like practically and personal fit rather than the prestige. Because I know many of my Malaysian friends, they tend to choose they join me the temple. And the things about me is that I don't want to do the same thing that everybody does. So I took a different path and joined in the temple instead. But but still, one factor that influenced me was that the flexibility of joining the inner temple because they offer on where they're offering the qualifying sections. For example, if I'm not mistaken, media temple that requires at least 6 of the 10 sections to be complete in person for the qualifying sections because you need to have 10 before you call to the bar, and 6 out of 10 sections you have to complete in person. So whereas inner temples, that you can attend all of them online if necessary, which means you don't have to attend a single event in person. Frankly speaking, because I study in Northumbria at the northern part of the England, so it's not very cheap and wise to go down to London by train every time to attend just for that section. Sometimes just one day and you have to go back and forth. And it's like 3 hours per trip. So like half a day, just stay in the train.
mm,
And the price is not cheap for the train in here. It could easily cost more than £100. So what happened to my classmate who were from Middle Temple? They have to go for the cheaper option by taking bus, and it's like 6 to 8 hours for the trip, and usually like go by midnight just to save the money. So that's why I would say I'm kind of glad that I joined Inner Temple because it saved me from the hassle going through all these, and I have like I'm able to balance my time to study and also meeting the requirements. But don't get me wrong, I would still encourage you guys to attend some sections in person if you want to, because even I did join a few sections in person that suit my time and preference. And these events, I would say, is very, very good experience because you get to meet the practicing barristers, judges, asking the advice from them and feedbacks, and also networking with other students who are doing the bar course MSU from different universities. It is a very essential skills for barrister to networking. So, but don't join the inner temple because of what I said just now. All four inns have their unique, beautiful settings and long traditions. All four inns are equal professionally. So I would say choose the one that you feels right for you, whether that's based on scholarship, support, or simply where you feel most at home.
thank you, Keong. And next, can I have Hui Yi?
I'm currently part of Middle Temple. Um, Before that, I did consider about Lincoln's Inn, and I will be very honest with you. It's just because that I know some of the experienced lawyers in Malaysia when they practice, they're part of Lincoln's Inn. So I thought, oh, why not associate myself with an inn with so many talented lawyers? But then when I consider like a lot of different factors like the application process, what do they offer, and like cost factor wise, and then how much you need to pay for like attending qualifying sessions and everything. I just thought like Middle Temple would be the best. Like what Man Kyung said, yes, it is true that Middle Temple has the most Malaysians out of the four inns. That's not really a bad thing. You will get to meet a lot of wonderful Malaysians that have a lot of legal experiences there. But also like I attended the open day that they had, and it was an online session. And the the most attractive factor from the Middle Temple was that one of the speaker that was introducing Middle Temple was saying that they do admit that within the legal field itself, it's actually very difficult for internationals to be part of. And that was something that Middle Temple was trying to like strike a balance in between of diversity and how they could invite more internationals coming over to join Middle Temple. That's why by the time when I first went to like qualifying sessions, you would meet a lot of different like legal professionals from different countries. You have people from Mauritius, you have people from India, you have people from like Middle Eastern country, or like you will have people from Spain or whatnot. For some reason, they just decided to come to the UK and have that experience and be part of Middle Temple. So it was actually a really good thing to be able to like connect with people from different places. So the thought of a lot of Malaysians might be very off-putting because it's probably not something that everyone wants to, especially when you come to the UK. But I don't think that's like a bad factor because you get to learn a whole lot more from other Malaysians as well, where probably some of them will have a lot of internship experiences. So yeah. Also what I remember is that Middle Temple they won the mooting when it was the mooting competition between all four inns. So Middle Temple was the champion out of it. So if that might be a attractive factor to you, then maybe that is something why you want to consider Middle Temple. Yeah. For several qualifying sessions, I think it's mostly about the introductory sessions, like by the time when you have like the start of the bar course period, then they will have a few free sessions. After that, even if it's online or if you attend in person, you will have to pay like about £12. I heard they have changed that policy. Back then, it was actually free for people, especially for outside London students. But now they have also incurred fees for outside London students, even if you have to attend either physical or online sessions as well. The advocacy weekend. So there are some of the advocacy weekend, they will provide you the allowance, but they will only cover if you come all the way down to London and travel together with them from London to somewhere else. So you still have to bear the traveling fee from, like, let's say I'm from Newcastle, I still have to bear my own traveling fee from Newcastle all the way down to London, then to where they are having their advocacy weekends. Yeah.
If both in have heavily subsidized the qualifying sections, so it might still sound expensive. Like if you join the section, you sometimes have to pay £7 or £12 on that. But I believe it's already heavily subsidized, sponsored by the inns. That's why it costs is just 12. And I'm not sure how Middle Temple work. For Inner Temple, we have like 4 different bands for the sections, like from band 1 to band 4. So band 1 is free and band 4 is the most expensive, like advocacy week. It like costs £70 for that. And yeah, so you don't often get band 4 section that many. Mostly it's just 1 or 2. So it's considered cheap already for attending a section. And as for the allowance, they have it in Inner Temple as well. And it depends on which region you're coming from. So let's say if you are traveling from Manchester, maybe you could claim the allowance for the travel expenses like £100. And my case, from Newcastle, I could claim £170 just for that, for information. So that's why I say like each temples have their own way of subsidizing the people who join the sections, and the allowance for Inner Temple I would say is quite good. Of course, you have a limit on that. You can't claim for all the sections. There's like only a limit up to 3 applications for that. But I would say it's very good already.
At least in some way subsidize for students' travel expenses. Right. Can I invite Elise lastly?
Yeah, so I am part of the Inner Temple as well. And the reason why I joined Inner Temple was because they offered me a pretty big scholarship. So how it works is I think it's about approaching the period of time where the scholarships are already open, if I'm not wrong, and the deadline is in November. So I really highly urge all of you to apply. But the thing about applying for scholarships is you only get to apply to one inn. So you can't apply for all 4. And I already had to make my decision then which inn I wanted to apply to. So how I chose Inner Temple is essentially what I did was I went to each inn's website. I pulled up their statistics because every year they'll come up with statistics as to how many people applied, how many scholarships were granted. For the past 3 to 4 years, for each inn, it's published. So what I did was I did the math for all of it. I calculated the probability of like how likely it is and how high the percentage of me getting a scholarship from each of the inn. And Inner and Middle were almost about the same, but Inner was higher. And the second reason why I then proceeded with Inner is because at that point in time, only Inner Temple and Middle Temple offered interviews for every single applicant that applied for the scholarship. But I know that they've changed the policy this year because I was helping some of my juniors with their in scholarship application. I found out that starting from this year, I'm not sure about Middle, but for Inner, they no longer offer interviews for all of the applicants. So there'll be double screenings, the first screening, and then they will only offer interviews for the people who go through the first screening, like all the other inns. But the reason back then was because I just felt like, although I was quite confident with my paper like submission, but I do think that like advocacy and interview is something that I am very confident myself in. That's why I think it would give me a higher chance to get the scholarship if I was guaranteed an interview. So that is why I went ahead with Inner Temple. And obviously once they give you the scholarship, and if you want to accept the scholarship, you have to join their inn. So that's why I joined Inner Temple. But honestly, if I had the option and I did not get the scholarship from Inner Temple, I personally would have joined a Middle Temple for the sole reason that number one, Middle Temple is much more aesthetically pleasing. So Middle Temple has a very archaic feel. Like if you go to their dinners and you see the pictures online, it literally looks like Hogwarts. But for Inner Temple, on the other hand, it boasts a more modern look because like the entire inn is refurbished. So it's more modern. Secondly, for Inner Temple, we don't have free dinners. So all of our dinners are not calculated towards your qualifying sessions. But for Middle Temple, it is because in Manchester, I think like Johnny mentioned, there are over 30 to 40 Malaysians, and I would say almost 30 to 40 of them are from Middle Temple. Like all my friends, my housemates are all Middle Temple. So whenever they go down to London and they have like their dinners, they get to network with other Malaysians. And like what Hui Yi said, I think it's not a bad thing at all to be surrounded by Malaysians, because if your end goal is to go back to Malaysia, this is your network that you're building right here. And in Middle Temple, where they have free flow alcohol and like 3-course dinners, and you just sit in close proximity and you just yap. That's where you build your connections. And the best thing about that, I do think, is because their dinners count towards their qualifying sessions. So you get to technically get your points and, like what MT mentioned, fulfill the points that are required for you to be called to the bar, at the same time join a dinner and network. But for Inner Temple, all the dinners do not have points to them. So if you want to attend a dinner, you can, but you don't get anything out of it other than networking. Yeah. But to clarify on the allowance thing, yes, Inner Temple does grant subsidies. We have 2 types, in fact. The first is, they call it a qualifying session grant, and the second is called a qualifying session travel subsidy. So how Inner Temple works is, before September starts, where all the qualifying sessions start to begin, they will release like a timetable of all the sessions that will be happening from September all the way until next year, September. But what they do is they will only allow you to book 3 months at a time. So, but for Middle Temple, it's different. For Middle Temple, they will allow you to book ahead all of your events until next year. So you can literally plan out your entire travel journey and whatnot. But for Inner, you do it 3 months at a time. So as for now, I have my qualifying sessions booked until December. But for the rest that I want to do next year, I can only book the moment the date opens. And that's really important. Always check your emails, because it's a first come, first serve basis. So what happens is, every 3 months, once you've booked your qualifying sessions, you can then apply for the QS grant and the QS travel subsidy. And similarly to what Man Keong said, they're pretty generous, I would say. Like for me, although I only went down London one time and my train ticket was around, I think, £70 to and fro, but they gave me a grant of £185. So I have extra money to spend. And obviously, like, I had to pay for every session also, because online sessions for Inner Temple are all £10 plus, and in-person sessions are around £15. If there are special sessions that give you more points, like the advocacy weekends or whatnot, then it will cost more, and because they also give you more points. So yeah, for Inner Temple, we do have a lot of like subsidies like that. And I was speaking to other Malaysians as to why they joined Inner Temple as well. For me, I didn't have to pay any like admission fee or whatnot because I had the scholarship, but they did mention that Inner Temple is the cheapest inn in terms of like admission fee or whatever. Like you have to pay a fee when you want to register for the inn, right? Something like that. And it's the cheapest. And our sessions are pretty cheap, and they also do give a lot of grants in terms of like travel grants, like for you to cover your hotel and for your train when you go down to London. And like what Man Keong said also, for Inner Temple, we do not have even until right now, they do not expect you to attend anything in person. So if you just want to just get it out of the way, you don't really want to network, and you don't really want to waste the money, go down London, you can do that. And I think for all the inns, this applies for all the inns. If you are in popular cities like Bristol or Manchester, they often have advocacy weekends or like qualifying sessions in Manchester or in Bristol, because like these are pretty big cities as well. I'm not sure if they have it in Newcastle. I've never really seen it, but in Cardiff, they have it in Cardiff as well. So if you're from those areas, oh, do you? You don't?
No, I think it's too small for that.
Oh yeah, maybe. But like for main cities like Manchester, Bristol, and Cardiff, we do have qualifying sessions that are in our city as well, but they get sold out really fast because obviously nobody wants to go down London if they don't have to, right? So yeah, those are things that you can consider. And another thing I think you can consider if you're really pressed on cost is when you're getting called to the bar. Because when you're getting called to the bar, when it comes to like because right now is the season of like people getting called to the bar. Like I've attended a few of my seniors' callings. The prices for being called is like, it varies, especially when it comes to hiring your gown, your photography and stuff like that. So from what I know so far, Lincoln's is the most expensive. It's £100+ to like just graduate. And in terms of like the ropes and whatnot, like they cost differently as well. Like some of them you have to buy, some inns make you rent, some inns make you buy it. The photography packages that they give are different. So these are always like the small little costs that you can inquire yourself if you are really pressed about cost, because I do think that a lot of people may think of inns as something that's extra, it's definitely an extra cost. So do take that into account, you know, your admission fee, like, you know, when you get called, like how much will it cost, you know, how much is it to like go down, how much is it per qualifying session? Is it compulsory to go down to London? I think these are factors that you can list down and ask around your seniors or ask around people who, you know, are from different inns, take that into consideration as when you decide which inn to join. Yeah.